Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris here. Man, today, fun day. This is awesome stuff. Okay, I've been getting a lot of the same messages about good carbs, bad carbs, carbs in general. And it's like carbs is like the new Darth Vader. It's like, oh my gosh, we gotta have bad. This is terrible. It's the worst thing ever. And so I want to teach you really quick because I haven't done a single check-in yet today. I've got a bunch to do, but I want to go over why the carbohydrates were deemed as the negative evil person, because they're not that great, but they're not that terrible. Okay, and how we can stop thinking this way. Is that cool? Okay, I'm going to show you two things. It's going to get a little sciencey nerdy. So while you're watching this, if it doesn't quite click, okay, I need you to finish it out, go back and review it, because this is going to be a thing that's slowing a bunch of you down as far as getting to the end result of where you're going to be eating foods that you enjoy, like bagels, like cake, like treats, okay, that you like, and doing it in a way that makes sense, but it's still carrying some guilt with it. Okay, so to pull you into the sciencey nerdy stuff, we need to go over something, and it's why there's things that are called bad and good carbohydrates. There really aren't any. Okay, but we're going to go over kind of what each of them mean. And I got to do this because I've got a couple windows. All right, so the first one is this thing called the glycemic index. Okay, and basically what that means is when you eat some carbohydrates of some kind, okay, you have what's called an insulin response. Okay, insulin is the hormone that your body secretes when it notices and feels sugar in your food. It's going to send some insulin to your body, or out of your pancreas into your body, to go snag up that carbohydrate and take it to a muscle if you need it there. Okay, and this is done in exercise all the time. So all the time when you're exercising, and in your blood right now, there's a certain amount of sugar, blood glucose, okay, in your sugar, in your blood, right? Glucose in your blood. Glucose is sugar. Insulin then, while you're exercising, is going to come over, snag up that blood, or that sugar in your blood, and it's going to take it to your legs to use as energy, right? It's pretty sweet how it works. Insulin's amazing, okay? Now, there's some foods that have what's called a higher glycemic load, which means that there's more sugary crap in it that has carbohydrates in it than there's not sugary crap in it, okay? Like a great example, apple versus lettuce. Both of them contain sugar, because carbohydrates are sugar. All of it's the same. It's the same thing. There just happens to be more in apples than there are in lettuce per volume, and there happens to be more junk in an apple per space than lettuce. Lettuce is mostly made of water, and apple's mostly made of sugar. So when you eat an apple, there's more sugar in it, which causes a higher glycemic index response, or higher insulin response. That's what this red line is, your insulin being shot out of your freaking body, okay? Then there would be if you just ate lettuce. Make sense? If you're following me so far, hey, write down A, I'm following you. This is going to be key, okay? Now, is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. Is it a bad thing today? No. Is it a bad thing tomorrow? No. Is it a bad thing 2 years from now? No. 20 years from now? Not really, okay? The problem therein lies is how much of the carbohydrates you're consuming, okay? Because if your insulin does this all the time, because of eating too many high glycemic index foods, that's a bad thing. But if it does this, I should show you this way so you can actually see what my hands are doing. That'd be good. Is that a bad thing? No. Here's a great example. What if it's doing this, but you're running a marathon, and the height part of your insulin is because you just took a sugar tablet so that you can not cramp while you're exercising and do more exercise. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not. But if you're sitting on the couch sipping on Gatorade all day, yep, bad thing, because you don't freaking need it, right? Makes sense so far? If this makes sense, let me know. Okay? This is important. Very, very important. Sick. All right. Now, the next piece of why that is important, but not as important as the next piece, I'm going to show you some more sciencey, nerdy stuff, okay? With it, I need you to follow me just a little bit. Remember, you and I, we don't really play the calorie game, so we're just not going to deal with that, okay? If you are burnt, actually, let me go back to this, just one other thing, okay, with this, which is why they're demonized as bad, because it is true, okay? If you have a bunch of sugar in your cell, in your body that just skyrocketed, our body wants to maintain this 60 to 100 millimoles per deciliter, don't need to worry about that, blood sugar level, okay? It wants to maintain that area, okay? So it increases, sends insulin, and if your body doesn't need it, doesn't need the sugar right away, what does it do? Well, typically it tries to store it as fat, right? Because you add an extra hydrogen molecule to your to the fat, and it makes it to the sugar, it makes it a fat. You can smack it into body fat. Okay, that happens every single time that you eat. Okay, this happens every time your body's getting fat, it's taking it away, it's moving it around, it's doing its thing. Okay, happens all the time. So nothing to worry about there. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you are eating less than what you are burning and you're trying to lose weight, you will lose weight. Here is why. Now, if you burn, let's say, and again, we don't play calories, but everything, you're counting macros, you just don't know it yet. You'll learn that later that you're counting macros if you aren't already aware, okay? However, if you're burning 2,000 calories per day, I just grabbed that number for ease of math, and then you are eating 1,500 calories, okay? Calories is just a measurement of energy, that's it. Calories can be translated to powering a light bulb. It's pretty sweet how it can do that, okay? That means every single hour, no matter what, you're burning 83 calories per hour. Okay, just chilling. That's just what you do every hour. Okay. And so let's say 8 o'clock, you eat 500 calories of food. Sweet. Then let's say at noon, you're eating 500 calories of food. And then let's say at 5, you're eating 500 calories of food. Okay. It could be all sugar if you wanted to. Could be. You are still, at the end of the day, negative 500 calories. Fantastic. So you're going to lose 1 pound in 7 days doing that. Of fat. Very cool. Potentially of fat. Losing something. Fat or muscle at that point. Now, the reason why we don't do that, just eat, we eat typically like meals with proteins and stuff, so we can target and try to lose fat instead of losing muscle at the same time, or at least a decent rate, right? But check this out. If you were to eat one meal of 2,000 calories, not 2,000, 1,500 calories of garbage, it could be literally donuts. 1,500 calories of them. You didn't eat anything for the rest of the day. Look at this. You're still at negative 500. Dang, that stinks. So, Chris, knowing this then, if that's true, because it is, science proves it's true, okay? This good and bad carb thing, it really just boils down to making the foods that I want to eat fit within the parameters of the food that I'm eating. Then there's no such thing as good and bad, right? Right. There's no such thing as good and bad. The reason why carbs have always gotten a bad look is, one, yes, it's really easy to overeat on carbs because a good example, a bagel has depending on which bagel you're having, something like 60 grams of carbohydrates, which for our purposes, that's 3 carbs in just one bagel. So that's a lot. It's really easy to overeat on carbohydrates, whereas fat, it's still pretty simple, but it's very challenging to overeat on protein, right? No one's up late at night chowing down chicken breast, right? Like, I just was craving chicken, so I cooked up some chicken and doesn't happen. But what do people typically crave? Crunchy, sweet, things like that, because the dopamine hit in our brain, it gives us literally the same dopamine hit like people that do meth have, genuinely. So that's why carbohydrates are always the bad guy. They're always the villain, but they're actually not that bad, okay? You can eat the bagels, the things that you like, the pizza, the whatever that you really, really enjoy. You can eat those things as long as it fits the nutrition plan and the goals that you have. Now, if you're eating it willy-nilly, then yeah, you're going to overdo it. One bagel is freaking half of your carbs for the day. Good luck reaching your goals, having one bagel being the majority of your carbohydrates for the day.